Welcome to Eye on South Florida. Today we're talking about the South Florida Science Museum and what it has to offer. Joining us today is Lou Crampton, the CEO of the South Florida Science Museum, and thank you for joining us today.
Great to be here, Tanya. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. My kids love the Science Museum because they feel like it's one huge playground, but it's a learning place
Absolutely.
too. Tell me about how you came to be, how you came a part of the Science Museum.
Well, it was sort of by an accident. They were having some leadership issues about a year ago. Actually, my anniversary date is coming right up. And I started out kind of on an interim basis. And as I started to work with terrific staff and saw how much beloved the Science Museum really is, I started to kind of fall in love with the job. So I'm no longer interim anymore. I'm running the place for real, and not only are we getting operations back in the black, but we're also going to be adding some new features to the building starting next year.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Let's start back from the beginning. How long has the South Florida Science Museum been around?
Well, South Florida, this is our 50th year.
Wow.
And the founding of the South Florida Science Museum and a number of other places around the country is kind of part of a natural phenomenon, meaning that when the Russians put up Sputnik back in 1957, that occasioned a great outcry about how far behind the United States is behind the Russians, and our kids need more access to science. So the great and wonderful Junior League of the Palm Beaches, as well as junior leagues all across the country, started to put together these little science centers. And they started in armories and post offices and all kinds of out-of-the-way corners. And gradually, in the 50 years since, they've developed summer camp activities, exhibits, you know, a whole slew of entertainment and education options for families.
Now, talk to me about... later on, we'll talk about the different exhibits that are on display at the museum. The building has been around for a long time, so tell me about the future of what you plan to change or add.
Well, it's an old building, and one of the first things I did when I got there is painted it white instead of that awful green color that it was. So it looks a lot better now. But the South Florida Science Museum is the second busiest science center in the whole United States.
Wow.
We're very small, only about 10 or 12,000 square feet available for exhibit space, yet we have 125,000 visitors a year, plus another 45,000 school kids coming there in field trips. So occasionally, like today, you can get run over in those corridors. It's really quite crowded. So we are planning to add a traveling exhibit hall that will house the top museum exhibits that are around the circuit today, Titanic or Jackie O or Giants or Joe Barrier or whatever it is. They'll be there. Bodies could go there too. We're going to double the size of our aquarium, which is a very popular feature at the Science Museum. Right. We're going to construct a dinosaur exhibit that will knock your socks off. I mean, as part of it, you get the opportunity to play through the scenario that wiped out the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. You get to ride an asteroid as it slams into the Earth, see this huge cloud of fire and brimstone spew up, and learn how the dinosaurs breathed their last. We're also going to do a wonderful Everglades exhibit, a courtesy of some funding from South Florida Water Management District and the Community Foundation. So we've got a lot in store. We're going to basically double, more than double, our exhibit availability space, which will add to the options of families and individuals and kids who currently make the Science Museum one of their top places for edutainment. I use the word edutainment.
Now tell me about, when does it start? Like, when is the first phase to start to make these changes so people know what to look forward to?
Yeah, it'll be after the first of the year. Date yet uncertain because we have to get some permissions from some people, but folks are really solid behind the approach. It's very exciting, and so I would say early in 2013 the place would be open, and construction would start early in 2012. Take about a year from the time the shovels go in the ground to the time the building is open to the public.
Will it connect to the old building?
Oh yeah, no, it's actually going to be built off the old building.
Okay.
The traveling exhibit hall will be built off the building and will kind of move toward where the zoo is located now. Not yet sure where the aquarium edition is going to be, but it'll be great. It'll be fantastic.
My kids love the aquarium because they get to look for Nemo.
Yeah, they can look for Nemo in the little, and we've got these great sharks that are swimming around there now. We've got 2 bamboo sharks and a nurse shark, and you can, or our staff, take them out of the aquarium and you can pat them.
Wow. Or
your kids can pat them. Same with a stingray that we have. So there's lots going on.
You said that the Science Museum is the second busiest in the country. Why? Why would you say that?
Well, if you measure the number of visitors we have by the available square feet for them to move around in and see exhibits and so forth, the concentration is higher than at any other science center in the country, according to the statistical abstract of the Association of Science and Technology Centers.
I know when we've been there before, I have seen a lot of tourists there. They're not from here, you know, they're visiting from other places because I hear them talking or I strike up a conversation with them. How does the Science Museum get the word out to the tourists that you're there? Because it almost seems like it's hidden, you know, and you have to kind of maneuver around to get there. So how do tourists even know you're there?
We get a lot of great help from the Cultural Council and the TDC marketing grant program. It's a terrific program, and it's kind of unusual around the country. That allows us to advertise in publications that are read by tourists, like the AAA magazine, for example, or other publications. But the absolute best way to advertise yourself is word of mouth. And, you know, most people, when they come there, are highly satisfied or completely satisfied. It's either a 4 or a 5. On the rating scale. I think about 95% of the people who come to the museum, it's either a 4 or a 5. And it's interesting because this isn't a great, beautiful, shiny science museum. It's a little shop-worn. It's a little tired in places. But it's got a spirit and an energy to it that both the staff and the people who are in there playing with all these kind of hands-on, minds-on exhibits, that really lifts people up. And then we do our best to have a lot of family-friendly activities, like free popcorn or free snow cones. We've got an event coming up where we're offering free barbecue.
Wow. I need to put that date down.
Put that one down here. Free barbecue, snow cones, and all that other good stuff. So we try to do a lot of stuff that's free to add to the experience. Our primary audience is families, and particularly families with younger children, up to about the age of 12 or 13 or so.
Now, you said that you do these different events to bring everybody in. I know you have members, right? Because you do have membership. When, and maybe we're going ahead of ourselves, when you do have the added construction done, will that change, obviously, admission and members, and, or are we looking too far ahead?
Well, no. I mean, when we put in a new exhibit, we have to shut half of the museum down, so we do charge less for admission in those situations. But I think we'll be able to work around the construction as it impacts us going forward. We're still working on the plans, but we hope to be able to do this construction around the existing facility without impacting people's enjoyment of the museum.
Right. Now, have you been, I mean, obviously you see the Science Museum all the time, but have you just been, before you became CEO, did you just go just to kind of, out of curiosity, just to kind of visit?
I went to see a dinosaur exhibit.
Okay.
Because last May, a year ago May, because I'd found a dinosaur out in Montana. And it was a very famous find. It was front page news, and it turns out that we found a very rare kind of juvenile T-Rex. Discovery Channel did a whole story about it.
So you're famous.
Well, in my own mind. So anyway, so the whole idea was I'd seen that, and I was a little disappointed with it, frankly. A little too mechanical, not enough hands-on stuff, and I think the educational things were lacking as well. We are planning on, I'm not going to say we're going to be able to do it, but we're planning to have another dinosaur exhibit at the museum starting next January and running through May. At that exhibit, we hope to have real dinosaur bones of a Triceratops, for example, that lived 66 million years ago. 66 million years. I mean, imagine that. When you go out and look for dinosaurs in the field, you don't kind of dig into the side of a butte or start rumbling around in the ground. You basically look for little pieces of bone sticking out of a butte, and then you dig around it and bring it home. But those dinosaurs all died 65, 66 million years ago. They were as deep under the ground as the Empire State Building is tall at one point. But over the last 15 million years or so, they've weathered out, and now people are finding them all over the place.
Wow. How exciting.
It is exciting.
Exciting things coming
Indiana
out.
Jones.
Yeah, that's right. All we need is a hat now.
Right.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.